Hello friends, thanks for joining me for this swap and glue. I have received images from my friend Melody at MelodiMade, and she sent me these a while back, and I wanted to wait to use them because they are so fantastic, and the images themselves, especially of those dolls in the beginning, just have so much emotion in them. And today's collage, I will be expressing some emotions that I've been going through lately. So I want to be very careful about the image that I choose and which jelly plates that I choose to work with. Now, I don't know if I mentioned that the jelly plates here are ones that she created, and they are beautiful. And that bright green one, almost teal, that I showed you just a minute ago also was one of her beautiful creations. She also sent me this stack of beautiful doilies, and I'm gonna show those to you real quick as well. While we are looking at the doilies and the beautiful jelly plates coming up, I want to mention that if you would like to join in on Swap and Glue, just leave a comment in the comments section, and I will be happy to pair you up with somebody else that would also like to join in. Now, in today's collage, I'm going for a very specific emotion that I want to express, an emotion that I've been dealing with lately. So I'm going to choose my jelly print very carefully. Friends, I have chosen this particular jelly plate. It is white and blue, and it is beautiful. In today's collage, this jelly plate will represent tears. Today's collage is about sadness and feeling sad. And I want to share with you all that feeling sad is not necessarily a bad thing. It's simply an emotion that we experience. What can be bad about it is when we don't own it, when we don't admit to ourselves that that's how we're feeling. And when we don't admit to ourselves how we're feeling, then we are in danger of sliding into a depression. And many of you, I know, have experienced that. And some of you know that I have experienced that. And I have experienced depression to incredible depths. And it has taken me to a place where I could no longer cope with my life. Now, that's been a long time ago, and since that time, I have been to counseling and received much counseling for years of my life. And now I'm in a much better place. And I can also now identify the emotions that I experience, whereas in the past, I didn't understand them and I couldn't identify them and I didn't own them and I ignored them because I couldn't cope with them. I didn't know what to do with them, and I was just overtaken by sadness, depression, fear, anxiety. But since getting the help that I needed, now that I can see the emotions and I can feel them, I'm okay with them. And I know that they won't take me to a place that is detrimental to me. So I wanted to share that with you while I created this collage, because I know so many of you can struggle with anxiety and depression. And I want you to know that that's okay, but do the work. I want to encourage you to do the work that it takes in order to gain control over it. And I know that that's a really strong word, control. but you do have to. You have to gain control of it so that it doesn't control you. So I want to use this collage to encourage you to do the work so that you can be okay. So let's get back to this collage in this moment. So I'm using a doily now, and I'm adding the doily because it adds interest and it adds texture, and that's just, I just feel like it belongs here. So most of you know that I am an intuitive creator. Everything that I create, I do intuitively, and that's what makes me happy, and that also keeps me from getting caught up in rules and regulations, if you will. I don't believe in that, and I'm never going to believe in that. I don't think anybody has the right to make a rule about art, and I don't think that there's a right way to do art. And if you look at art through the generations, since the beginning of time, there's all sorts of styles and ways to do it, and nobody needs to go to school to be an artist. I just don't believe that, and that's how I feel about that. So for those of you that think that you're not good enough, or you don't like your work, or you're self-critical, let it go. Just let it go. Just let it go and create. And just let go of your self-criticism. You're not the one who put the self-criticism there. Somebody else did that for you. You just haven't chosen to let that go yet. So I want to encourage you to let it go. Nobody pays rent to be in your head, so kick them out and be you and be happy with you. And I know that's easier said than done, but just try it. Try it on for size and you'll see that you like it. One time I was talking about something, and I was talking about overvaluing other people's opinions. And one of my dear friends, a great supporter of mine, said that she was surprised by some of the comments that I had made in my video. And I felt like that was the thing that I said that surprised her. It might not have been. I don't know. I didn't ask. But I could see why that would be surprising, to say don't overvalue other people's opinions. But I want to share that again, and I want to say don't overvalue other people's opinions. It can bring destruction to you and your health and your well-being. And I don't say it to be disrespectful, but I say it because nobody owns you. The only thing that matters is how you value your work, how you value yourself. And if you value yourself and you respect yourself, then other people will too. And if they don't, it doesn't matter. Your life is not about them. Your life is about you. So take care of yourself. And if you take care of yourself, then you'll be able to take care of other people in the right ways and in the ways that matter. This image of Alice is stunning, and so that's why I chose to use it. And look into her eyes. There's just so much emotion there. It's absolutely incredible. So that's another reason I wanted to use it. Now this tag that I'm using is a blue jelly plate done by Melody as well. And actually when she sent it to me and I saw the writing on the other side, I didn't even realize that this side had this blue jelly plate on it, and it's absolutely stunning, and it is perfect for this collage. And this also represents tears. So I want to share with you another thing from my youth, is that I never cried. Well, I mean, when I was little, I did. And then I suffered a lot of trauma. And then I didn't, because I was ignoring those feelings because I couldn't cope with them. Like I mentioned earlier, I couldn't cope, I couldn't deal with them. And I felt like if I got in touch with them, well, I didn't know what would happen. I just didn't know. And so in my very early adulthood, as I mentioned before, I went to counseling, and it was really, really, really a hard thing to do because I had so much that I had to force myself to look at. And I didn't want to relive the pain and anguish that I had gone through, but I knew that I had to. I knew that if I didn't force myself to deal with my baggage, that I would keep ending up in a place where I no longer could cope with living. And I know that that's a really heavy statement, but it was true for me at that time in my life. I can remember a time, because of all the trauma that I had gone through, and then I had gotten into that severe depression, that not only did I not cry, but I also didn't laugh. I was unaware at the time, but I can remember saying the words, "Oh, that's so funny," and I would say it just like I did just now, with like no emotion, but I wasn't able to laugh. I had concealed my feelings so tightly that I couldn't express any of them. And that was a really terrible place to be. So I say all of this to say to all of you, any of you that maybe are experienced or have experienced depression and anxiety, I just encourage you to not be afraid to dig deep and get to the bottom of it, so that you can have a full and happy life. Now I have a very full and happy life. And when I'm experiencing some sadness like I have recently, I can deal with it and I can cope with it, and I can create art like this, and I can be okay with it, and I can know that tomorrow is a fresh new day, and I can also accept the emotions for what they are and move on with my life, because I like to live in a very happy place, and I typically do, but after all, we are human. And so to experience all emotions is truly a wonderful gift. I mean, it means I'm not a robot, which is great. I don't want to be a robot. I want to be human. And so I hope that this was not too heavy of a collage for you guys. I think it turned out really beautiful. I love it. But I hope my talk wasn't too heavy. It was simply to just bring some encouragement and to say to you guys, it's okay to have all of the feelings and emotions that we can have as humans. It really is okay. And I want to say that I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate you spending this time with me. I appreciate you listening if you're still here listening. And I wish you all the most happiness in the world. Thanks for watching. See you soon.